Good morning. My name's Olivia. I'm known as Olivia K on Facebook, Ollie K on Instagram, and Warmium 9800 on Reddit. So I talk about nursing related materials, including NCLEX. So I help prepare patients, people for their first or many attempts, or try to go through your CPR and see where you went wrong on, and I try to give some materials that you might see on the NCLEX and on your nursing school and Q banks. Sorry, don't mind the non-oily hands. I go over reality TV shows. In fact, I have a playlist of reality TV show reactions. I'm thinking of doing Love After Lockup. Actually, I'm because the new season coming out soon, so I'm just going to go over maybe one or two seasons of it, and then I do have a Love Is Blind playlist as well, and then also I react to documentaries. There is a playlist of documentaries that I've reacted to so far. So that's the American Next Top Model or Eric Dane documentary, and I believe the Lamar Odom and some other ones. And then I just recently watched a Michael Jackson movie, so there's a reaction to it as well. It's every now and then I watch movies. I don't watch a lot of movies, but um, whatever I see and feel that's going to be good, I can react to it, and or you can give me a suggestion, whatever the case. So today I'm going to talk about an opinion piece, not about anything nursing related per se, because I had to get that all figured out. I've had a busy weekend because I worked all weekend. I think that's my last week I'm going to be working with this agency on the weekends, unless I feel inclined to pick up, which will be unlikely, but I'll do my best to help whenever I can, just because I'm starting my new job next week and I have to still get the paperwork and do the drug test and all that's jazz just to get through and get ready to work soon. So I'm going to be very damn busy. So I'll try to get as much videos out as I can and see if I can develop a schedule. I haven't even figured out what my schedule is going to be like. So we're still getting everything ready and set. And then once that happens, I'll let you all know um, how things are going to be moving forward. So today I'm going to talk about how technology relates to healthcare. It's an opinion piece, so I don't think I'm going to have a particular playlist, but this is just like a standalone opinion of what I think. Because I think technology is growing every single day, and I'm telling you, they're probably developing different ideas and ways to improve everything technology wise day after day, even now as I'm speaking and now as you're watching this video. So it's amazing what's happening out there and whatnot, and how this world has grown since I was a little kid, since we're all little kids as a matter of fact. So I can only imagine how the older generation's feeling now, because technology is taking over everything. As the world grows, so does healthcare, so does everything. Okay, so that's just my whole point, and I just find this really fascinating, and I want to touch on it and then kind of give my own thoughts and opinions on this. So technology, huh? Okay, so I am a millennial. I don't look it. I know. You know how many times patients are telling me, you look 20 years old. You look like you're still in high school. You look like you're still a college student. And I understand it's compliments, and it's a compliment to me. So I'm like, I'll take it. I mean, my family has really amazing, great genetics, I guess. So I'll take that. So when I was born, computers were finally new to the market at that point, because in the 80s computers were still kind of in their infantile stage, and it wasn't readily available to public just yet. Like maybe fewer institutions had the MacBook computers, and a few of the kids younger, like they're playing Oregon Trail, which I did play in 8th grade. Oh my god, that was so fun doing an Oregon Trail. Um, and I wish there was a streamer out there playing that right now. It's such a fun game and whatnot. But it was fun for kids to play in school. But see, it was still like infantile use at the time, so it's not a lot of people had computers and stuff. But as time grew and then there was more demand for technology, you would see more and more computers in schools. So when I was in elementary, because I want to say 2nd or 3rd grade, that's when I was introduced to computers. And this had to be like what, 1996, 1997. And we had computer class and we had to learn how to type without looking down the keyboard. I sometimes have that skill. Sometimes I have it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have to look down. And there are other times where I could just type it with ease, without really looking down. So it's a cool skill to have. And we also had a computer at our house at the time as well. So while my sister and I were still playing with toys and whatnot and all this jazz, we have this computer and we're still kind of learning with it. At the time, before the internet, before we got AOL and all that junk, we could play games on it too. So I'm like, oh, cool, you can learn stuff. So we got those Leapfrog kind of CD stuff to learn about, like with science, English, and math. So, which is why it's sad that I'm not that good with math. But I used to have like math CD-ROMs and stuff to help me read. Then we even had the toy computer stuff that helps us with vocabulary and reading, spelling, which was so cool to have as a kid. And some of you guys will know what I'm talking about, VTech. So it's just amazing how technology just evolved since I was a little kid to now. And of course, anyone millennial, the older millennials and younger ones, we were all like raised in this technology era where now you see the sunrise of computers everywhere. Laptops were still, I think, infantile at some time, but then by college, like everyone had laptops. Everybody had laptops. Shoot, I have one now, right next to me. So the whole point is, it's really, really, really awesome how technology has grown in our lives. Now let me get right into healthcare, how it relates to healthcare, because I'm talking about my background with computer and technology. So, in nursing, see, I'm from a family of nurses, okay? My father was a nurse. My mom is still practicing as a nurse. I have several of my aunts that are nurses, cousins that are nurses, and I think 2 or 3 that are nurse practitioners. I'm going to be like the 3rd or 4th one very soon. Mark my words, 3rd or 4th. So, when both my parents started out in nursing, it was mostly paper documentation, okay? And then they had only computers because they used to work in long-term care and stuff like that. They only had like maybe computers to have databases for patients and stuff like that. So you didn't have a lot of electronic documentation. There was mostly on paper. And which was usually, I would tell you, probably a lot of work. Because you know how they teach you in documentation school, because we went through this in my practical nursing program. Well, as soon as you make an error, strike through, you initial, and then you move on, because you don't want someone to then go over and put some false documentation on. So of course it used to be a hassle back then to write and stuff. When I first started with the nursing program back in I'm going to say 2012, when I went to clinicals, 2012 to 2014, about that time, right? So whenever I went to clinical, we were paper documenting. And then they only had like one computer on top of the nurse's cart, and that's where you would then do the med pass or whatever the case. So that's when I start to see some form of like technology happening. So there's some electronic documentation, but not in every single facility like there is now. Like now, I don't know any facility where they're still doing paper documentation. I think that's very rare, as a matter of fact. So there's a lot of them doing most electronic, okay? So again, a lot of a couple sharding with the paper, so I still was kind of doing that, but we had to log into one computer under our instructor's name and then document, and then or depending on other facilities, we still did paper, which was not fun to do, but hey, it was what it was. But I think I'm reading here, by January 1st, 2014, electronic health records became mandatory. And why was that? So you can guess, with paper, it was easier to make more mistakes. Technology, here's the thing about technology, the beautiful thing about it is that it leaves you less room for error. But technology, it's not always perfect. That's what we also come to find out too, because computers, they sometimes crash. Sometimes you can write the human errors where you make your grammatical errors and mistakes, and the timing can be a little faulty. So in 2015ish was when I went to another program, and we had to use everything was computerized at the time, so no more that paper nonsense. So it was computer this, computer that, and it came into full force. So now we're documenting like nobody's business, right? And it makes things so much easier. I think it's easier too. I like that technology is more into play. So fast forward to now where I'm working my agency. So I did not work in this agency when they were using paper. I was in a long-term care facility at the time. And of course we're still doing some paper, but mostly computer documentation. So in my agency now, we're using tablets. But before I was there, they used paper, and the documentation in this agency is a lot. Home health is a lot. It's a different ball game. So now that EHR was effective in oh my god, I cannot talk sometimes. I don't know what's wrong with me. So now that it became effective in January 14th, 2014, rather, now we have to carry iPads in. Nurses have to document because the timing is going to be impeccable. It has the correct time. And then you're walking into this patient's home, and then it tells you that you've been there, and then you do your documentation. Then it ends right when you end it and stuff. So at first, you did not have, there's no way of knowing, because it was easy to also commit fraud, because it could say you're at this place, but there's no way of knowing right now, right? There's no way of knowing that the nurse was there or not there. So EVV came into play, I want to say 2 years ago. It could be off. So 2 years ago came into play, and now with EVV, it tracks you. You have a GPS in your tablet because it's going to capture where you are. So that's true for all my visits, because again, I'm a visiting nurse. So if I say I'm at this person's place, and then the moment I say I'm at that person's place and turn on open up the note, it reads to whoever's grabbing my GPS coordinates that Olivia's there. She says she's there, and I'm at the visit. So that's how it always goes. So now GPS is now in our documentation. So it's just amazing to me how documentation has evolved as far as technology goes, and even beyond nursing. With surgeries, like now with surgeries now, there's more technology involved. I'm saying evolved. Well, it did evolve, but that's more involved now, because now you see robotic arms doing the procedures, being moved by the surgeons themselves. So the surgeons aren't, well, even though there are some surgeries where it requires the surgeons to still be there and do X, Y, and Z, the surgeons are making the cuts via the robots. And I think that's interesting, but I also wonder how sterilized these items are, because you want to also have the risk for less infection, stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they have their protocols, but I just find that so interesting, because there's even much more healing time with these newer surgeries and these newer risks and procedures. Heck, like if I can even go further, you know how people do they swallow the capsule with the camera to see if there's bleeding in their GI tract. Now that's a thing, instead of having to put a whole scope, the endoscopy, down and seeing if there's any bleeding. I know that still is performed, but depending on how much bleeding's happening, they can also take that little camera, because I had a patient that went through that before. Well, God love her soul. I miss this patient every day, but they have that as well now, and it makes things a lot easier. It's less anxiety ridden for these patients, because you're just swallowing and then you're pooping it out, and the hospital or the clinic, whoever's prescribed this, they can see what has been taken by the little capsule with the camera. So I just find it so fascinating how technology just continues to evolve. And I just wonder if there's going to be now we're going to have like AI robots taking over nurses' jobs. Can you imagine that, little robots like taking over? I don't think that's ever going to happen, because the thing is that humans are still needed in this day and age. We still have the knowledge, because the computer or robot technology can only do so much. It's definitely a good way to help us, I think. And I do like the fact that we have technology to help with everything. It makes life easier. But there are some downfalls, because I think, you still have the human error that could happen. Technology is not perfect. So I just found this fascinating. I just thought about it all week. I wanted to cover this last week, as a matter of fact. But as like now you have AI singers, you know what I'm saying? And that actually makes me laugh a lot, because we didn't have AI singers back then. Now we have it because the technology's out there. They have apps where you can write all these kinds of songs, and then you can make any kind of voice sing it, and then, oh my God, it's a smash hit. It's a real thing. It's amazing. But then also I know it's a down side to real actual talented singers. I'm not going to get into who my favorite singers are, because I'm kind of biased. I won't lie. I don't think there's a lot of talented singers out there in this state of age. But I just find it so fascinating that now this is a thing. So yeah, I do like the fact that we have electronic documenting. I like that way better, although it doesn't take as much time as if you were to do paper, because I have had experience of doing paper in this agency I'm working, and it sucked, but you did what you had to do, and it is what it is. That's a good thing in still having paper, because that's your backup in case technology fails, because it tends to fail. Another thing too is I go to an online school, and Excelsior, as I mentioned, and then the Canvas shut down. It was hacked. I was so upset, because I wanted to get my homework done, and I don't play when it comes to making deadlines, because my adult brain says this needs to be done right now. because if you don't get this done, there's a consequence that can happen, and then you don't do good. So it's how I program myself, because I didn't used to have that tick and I didn't care, but now I care because I'm accomplishing things, and it's so important to get your deadlines done at a certain time. So it sucked because I had to wait a whole good 24 hours to do my homework again and pass it in. I'm like, that sucks, because Thursday night is usually your first deadline. Then afterwards, you have to respond to other people. So it's a lot. Technology has its ups and downs, but I do think there's a good medium to it. Like, yes, technology is a wonderful tool, and the same thing when I say with like even studying for NCLEX or nursing school, whatever, it's good to use them as tools, but however, you also want to use your brain and connect the dots, because you want to leave little room for human error. Human errors still happen every single day despite having all this technology. So yeah, I like technology. I think it's great for healthcare. I think it's great for the world, and I'm telling you, this is not the end of it. There's going to be many other stuff happening. I'm kind of glad we don't have flying cars now, because how many deaths we would have at the moment. Think about how many shitty drivers are out there now and how many car accidents still happen. But that's it for my piece. So I'm going to come up with a schedule of what I'm going to do. I don't even know if I'm going to do short today, because I'm not sure of what to talk about. I know I'm probably going to do Suboxone this week, because I do need to get to know what that is, especially when I'm going to work in a methadone clinic. And I will come up with some ideas and whatnot. So just be on the lookout. And anyway, I should get ready for work and head out. It's ice cream day, still Nurses Week. So happy Nurses Week, and good luck to everyone out there. Take it easy. Bye.